Hey everybody. Now, if you're watching real estate videos, then I'm sure that you already know that 2021 was very different. Took some drastic turns here and there in regards to real estate. Not a lot of inventory, a lot of buyers. So it's just brought a lot of challenges this last year, and we've learned a lot for both buyers and sellers, quick adjustments, different ways of approaching things. So in this video, I want to share with you 5 mistakes to avoid based on what has happened here in this last year with the way the market has been. Hi, I'm Jill Thomas, and each week I bring new videos about what it's like to live here in the Sunshine State, the Sarasota area, Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, and then of course I like to talk about real estate. So if you've been thinking about making this move or even selling a property around here, then this is the channel for you. Be sure to tap that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and keep on watching. Now, when you're ready to kind of take it to the next level, you've got more questions, maybe it's something you've heard in a video, or maybe you have special unique needs, then please give me a call, text, or email me, and I can help give you, help you navigate these things, these waters, so you can make the next best step for you. Okay, so you've been thinking about making a move, and honestly, it could be a local move. You could be moving from Venice to Sarasota, or you could be moving from, Chicago to Sarasota. These things are really important for you to think about, things for you to avoid, and then you can maybe be a little bit more successful in the purchasing process. Okay, number 1, what to avoid is having high expectations. I don't know if you've ever heard the quote or saying that really everything rises and falls on these expectations, whether it's in a relationship or in a job. Well, real estate is no different. And so often we want to tie past experiences to our current ones, and that's natural to do. But let me share with you why you need to be careful with that. Number 1, buying a property in Florida is going to certainly be different than buying a property in another state, because we have different contracts, different laws, different customs. So to say, well, this is how I did it in North Carolina, this is how I want to do it here, that may or may not work out so well. And then the second thing is, this last year, 2021, has been pretty crazy. The whole real estate market's been flipped over. So everybody's, learning how to deal with this new normal, which I hope is temporary, but this is where we're at right now. So even though it's tempting, it's really natural for you to want to connect, these current experiences, what's going on, to the past, and work off of that. So natural. Please, I ask that when a real estate professional or some other professional tied into the process gives you some suggestions or talks about things, please don't dismiss that and just say, well, that's not how I did it before. That's not how I did it in Chicago. That's not how I even bought my property in Bradenton 3 years ago. Things have changed so much. So please just kind of slow down the thinking process a little bit, listen to what they're saying, and ask a lot of questions. And then even for us as real estate professionals, we're adjusting too. We just can't base everything on past experiences. We're having to be innovative. We have to look at things differently. And so we're trying to be creative as well. So if you kind of get stuck in the past a little bit and use those same expectations from the past, I think you're going to find yourself to be very frustrated, very disappointed, and the whole process is not going to be what you expected. So like I said, maybe work on those expectations a little bit. Certainly ask a lot of questions. There's nothing wrong with that. And then just slow down and listen, whether it's the real estate agent, an insurance agent, an inspector, the lender, whoever it is, whatever the player is, just slow down and listen. All right, number 2, we need to avoid not having our finances in order. Not having our finances in order. It's so important for us to be able to jump quickly, pounce fast on that home that you find and that you love. And if your finances are not in order, you are going to miss out. So what does having your finances in order look like? What are we expecting, or what's a listing agent or a seller expecting to see? Well, first of all would be a pre-approval letter, and ideally from a local lender, of course, if you're getting financing. So I just cannot stress it enough how important it is to get that pre-approval letter from a local lender. In fact, I did an entire video on it, and I did it a while back, so I would even stress it all the more today. But I'll put a link to that video in the description below so you can watch that if you want. But it is crucial. I could tell you guys stories about people who were relying on these big banks and they failed them. Just to keep the video a little bit shorter, I won't go into all those stories, but man, just a lot of disappointment and heartache because of that. Now, thankfully, I got some good local lenders who were able to jump in and help recover the situation, and we're all good. But it's just such a scary thing. So that's why it's just really important to do that. Now, if you're not paying or getting a loan, you're paying cash, then we still need proof of funds. We just can't say we're good for it. That's not sufficient. So, a seller needs to see those numbers in black and white. So proof of funds would be a bank statement or some investments where you can see that total dollar amount that's sitting in that account. And so we need to be able to provide a copy of that. So it's a bank statement, something from online, you can screenshot something, but your name has to be on it because we have to be able to match it up with the contract. We have to make sure it's not, a cousin's bank statement. And then, so your name has to be on it, but we can black out the account numbers. So that's a typical approach. And even if you've got money in a couple different places, we can have 2 or 3 of those. That's fine, as long as it all adds up to what we need. Or sometimes a letter from, your financial person that's on letterhead with their contact information on it, because then the listing agent wants to be able to call them to verify that information. You could easily falsify a letter on letterhead these days, easy peasy. So we have to make sure it's legit. So those are things that you want to do. Now, why do we have to do that? Because those are going to be submitted with any offer. So if we're not ready to roll with those things, it's going to hurt your chances of having your offer chosen by the seller. And right now, pretty much all multiple offers on everything. So we have to be careful with that. So that's the thing. Get those finances in order. Now, what does not having your finances in order might look like? Let me give you a couple examples. Now, historically in the Sarasota area, it wasn't very common for offers to be written that were contingent on the sale of a house somewhere else, meaning, okay, I can buy this house here, but I have to sell my house over there first. It's going to sell in a few weeks, and then I'll have the rest of the funds so I can close on this one, a week later. Okay, that didn't really happen a whole lot in our area to begin with, but right now that's not going to happen at all. So often I'll have people call me up and say, no, Jill, this is great. I can sell my house for good money. I'm really excited about that. So let me get going with that, and I'm going to come down and I'll get under contract. That's not going to happen. The chances of you having a seller choose your offer contingent on the sale of a property somewhere else is 0.00001% probably. So don't rely on that as an option to have your finances in order. We have to wait for your house has to be closed on, get the funds, and then we can move forward. So in the meantime, you're going to have to rent or crash with somebody else. So sadly, that's what we're looking at. And then the other thing too is just sometimes people like to get creative with how they're going to get their money. Maybe they're going to get it from a relative, a friend, this, that, well, once I do this, take care of that, then I'm good to go. No, the money's got to be there. It's got to be in the bank. We just can't wait. So have your ducks in a row, because like I said, we have to be able to submit that offer, or submit with the offer your pre-approval letter, your proof of funds, and know that you are ready to go. So it's really important. Number 3, what to avoid. I would say selling your home up north without having a game plan. So I just told you guys that you need to be careful. You have to sell your home first before you can buy, because you can't not have that contract contingent on the sale of a house. So you say, okay, Jill, that's fine. I'm going to come down and rent for a while. I can look around, take my time, find the right property, and then I'm good to go. So in theory, perfect idea, perfect plan, right? But here's the thing. Just like with sales, rentals are in high demand and there's not enough of them. So as a result, it's number 1, hard to even secure a rental. And then 2, when you do, you are going to be paying top dollar for it. And I'm not talking luxury or something on the beach or, on a golf course, gated community with a lot of amenities. I'm talking your average house. And so you're paying a lot of money for that. So here you just sold your house, you made some good money, but then if you have to come down here and the rental is going to take a good chunk of that money that you just made off of that property. So, you need to be really careful with that. And then also when I talk to folks with little ones, with kids, they'll say, okay, well, Sel, we want to come down, rent in the same school district where we're going to buy so the kids don't have to be disrupted. Again, perfect plan in theory, but with the rentals being scarce and then paying so much money, it can be difficult. The one woman I remember, I told her, I said, you're going to easily be looking at $3,000 a month for a rental. And she was like in shock. So I said, yep, I know. I just don't want you to be homeless with your kids, So I said, think twice before you sell your house up north, or we need a different game plan, or if there's a relative you can live with, or sometimes just renting up north, which I know is more difficult because you want to be down here and looking every day. But again, I'm so concerned about people being homeless, being in a tough predicament. And so you've got to really think it through and think through all of your options. So it's really, really important right now to be careful with that. Number 4, not considering all of your expenses or carrying costs with a property in Florida. Now, of course, Florida properties are different than northern properties and the other way around. And I wouldn't know the first thing about how to maintain a house up north, but I know my Florida properties. And so besides the mortgage and interest, there's some other things you really need to think about. Or if you're paying cash, sometimes people are good with that and they think, okay, good. All my other expenses will be pretty minimal. I'll be okay. Maybe not. So of course we've got property taxes. Another big issue right now with us is homeowners insurance. And I just did a video with an insurance agent about roofs and how it's impacting insurance rates. And it's only happening in the state of Florida, not anywhere else. So this could be new news to you. So if I didn't already say it, I'll put a link in the description below about that video I just did with Chad. And that's excellent information. But insurance, or if you're in a flood zone, things like that. Let's see, we also have like your HOA dues, condo dues. Sometimes there's special assessments involved with some associations. That's a big thing. If you're looking at new construction, a lot of the new construction communities are in areas where there are CDD fees, Community Development District fees, that are rolled into your property taxes. And those fees could be as low as $700 or $800 a year, or as much as $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year. It sort of depends on where you're living. The more expensive the property, the higher those numbers will be. But that's, another huge thing to think about. So you need to consider all those potential expenses as you're looking at properties. And some of those will not jump out to you as much as what you would think that they would. So when I am showing properties to people, I will point these things out to them and help them navigate those waters so they just don't get focused on the pretty things, the view, having palm trees in the yard. I try to kind of keep people grounded, keep them real with all of this as well. Number 5, the final point I want to share with you is I don't want you to think that going the new construction route is going to be the easy answer with all of this. So don't just rely and go, oh, I'll just get new construction. It'll be okay. Well, here's why. Right now, builders are backed up too. A lot of demand, less supply. Of course, we're having issues with getting materials. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of moving parts with that. Now, every builder is a little different on how they approach this, so I'm going to keep this pretty generic, but it's, I think, enough information for to help you understand and get the gist of all of this. So what happens is maybe on a weekly or monthly basis, a builder in a community will release so many lots. Maybe they'll release 1 lot a week or 3 a month, something like that. And then they usually have a waiting list going on who can jump in and get one of those lots that are going to be released. Now, sometimes the lot will only accommodate certain floor plans. They all won't have the same setup or view. It's more like take it or leave it. This is all you've got. You cannot look at this whole map and say, oh, I want, that lot right there. I like that one. There's no picking and choosing. It's sort of like you get what you get. So then you get on their waiting list, and there might be criteria or hoops you have to jump through to get on their waiting list. They might want to hang on to a check of a small deposit. Usually they don't even cash it. They just hang on to it. They might want you to pick out certain things, kind of narrow things down a little bit because they're looking for serious people to put on their lists. They don't want a bunch of looky-loos on there that they have to deal with. And then from there, when these lots get released, sometimes they will go from top to bottom. Do you want it? Yes or no? Do you want it? Yes or no? Or there could be a bidding process. So there's more to it than that. So even once your name gets on a list, it could be 2 to 3 months before you get a property. And then from there, we get the contract together. They have to pull permits. They don't start building right away. And then the house could be completed, anywhere from 10 to 12 months later. And part of the delay is them having, good workers, and then also materials. We've had backups because of framing for the house, garage doors, appliances, cabinets, you name it. So, you're not moving into an incomplete house. So then you have to wait. So you're going to have to be able to be very flexible with where you've been living. So, so new construction, a lot of fun, not for the faint in heart. Now, I've had really great success this year with people who are like serious about new construction. Like I've been able to get them all under contract pretty quick. So I'm glad for that. I've learned a lot on how to work it, but, but that too is just not an easy, simple process. Okay, so those were my 5 quick tips on things to avoid when looking to buy a home. I know I could have shared some other things as well, but I think that this just provides you enough information to help you start to think things through a little bit more. Now, I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer at all, because I know this might be very discouraging, but I would rather just shoot straight with you so you don't make some poor decisions based on misinformation. I just would lose sleep at night if I thought somebody was homeless or they misunderstood something that I said and made a decision that was just kind of like harmful in some way. So that's why I would rather just be very direct, very blunt with you. Now, even though, like I said, this sounds very negative, very discouraging, it's not impossible yet to buy a house. I've had a lot of success with people with buying resales and getting new construction. I've done really well with that. So don't be terribly, terribly discouraged. We can get there. We can do it. It's not for the faint in heart. That's why I said you have to kind of set back those other expectations that you've had from the past. That's just really a part of it to sort of mentally get there. And then just be ready for the unexpected. But that's okay. We're in it together. We'll figure it out. We'll keep moving forward, and you're going to get your beautiful Florida home when it's time. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll throw links below for other videos that I've mentioned here in this video. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Give me a call. Have a great day.